Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I have a question or two to the proponent of the bill through you, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, on lines 16 to 22, the General Assembly may provide qualified voters a polling place for not less than 2 days, more than 5 days, in the city or town for which such qualified voters are inhabitants. Is there any provision in this or any thought in this in college campuses and how this will affect voting in college campuses? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, through you to the fine representative, specifically, I don't think there's any reference to college campuses in this underlying amendment. If the representative is asking, actually, can the representative rephrase his question? That is he asking how will this affect college campus in the voting? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Tweedie, can you reframe?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the proponent for asking me to clarify this. I'm just, I know that there's college campus voting now, but during this time, 2 weeks prior to an election, and a student is going to be away from their hometown and at their college campus, is there going to be a situation, a setup at a college campus that would provide for early voting? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, line 18 of the proposed amendment references qualified voters. Qualified voter is an individual possessing the qualifications prescribed by the Constitution, duly admitted to and entitled to exercise the privileges of an elector in the town. So I suppose that an individual on a college campus, assuming that they meet the statutory definition of elector, and they are qualified to vote in the town in which they attend college, then they would be able to participate in early voting should this resolution be approved by the state of Connecticut and thereafter regulated by this body. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Tweedie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the answer. That opens up another potential problem, I think, in college campuses voting. If someone were to be at campus 14 days beforehand and then something changed and they were able, and they voted, and then something changed and they were able to go home, but would that, in that short amount of time, would they be crossed off of their place of residence for having already voted? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Fox.
Mr. Speaker, through you, I assume that if the student let's say goes to UConn and Mansfield and is a resident of Stanford and votes early at UConn and Mansfield, then I presume that this body, in setting up the terms of early voting, would address how that is to be determined by the town clerks of the municipalities. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Tweedie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for your answer. The other day was Town Clerk's Day, and actually I still have my bag here if anybody wants any Doritos. And he was concerned with early voting and the potential chaos that it would cause to the town clerk's office, and asked me not to support it. I think that, it is, as everyone has said before me, an unfunded mandate. I think that it opens up some potential for problems with accountability in the voting process. And because of these things, I cannot and will not be supporting this today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the good proponent of the bill for doing an excellent job of providing us the information. Thank you, sir.